All right, ladies, how many of us are walking around with an emergency supply in our purse? Maybe you have a pad, tampon, or panty liner that's in a special compartment buried under bobby pins and older seats if your purse looks anything like mine. Probably needless to say, that's not the best way to handle these kinds of products. Um, it's best if you're on your period, maybe you can pack them in a little Ziploc bag and carry them in your purse, keep them more protected. But to just have them in there for, emergencies, just in case, they end up getting buried and often destroyed and wasted. So for women with limited income, that can be just really devastating. So it got me thinking this month about the kind of peace of mind it would bring to so many women to know that if they're in public and get their period, and visit a restroom, those kinds of products in some way, shape, fashion will be available to them. So I ran a little project this month where I just went to the regular businesses around Grand Rapids that I normally visit, but each time I went into a business, I took a look at their restroom. I looked to see if A, they have a product dispenser or some way that the products are available, and B, if there's a wastebasket, preferably within arm's length of the or arm's reach of the toilet. Um, Surprisingly, there were a couple of restrooms I went into that don't have a wastebasket, which means that female patrons of of the business using the restroom, if they're on their period, they have to resort to either leaving their applicators, wrappers, used products, leaving them in the restroom for someone else to take care of, or wrapping them up in toilet paper and taking them out with them. And I think that's terrible. And I think that businesses need to hold a higher standard and be held accountable for taking care of their patrons, both male and female. So I have one experience that I want to share with you as kind of a preview of next month's blog. And it's about a department store that I visited. It's a kind of a clothing-based department store. I went in to check out the restroom, and the dispenser, there was a dispenser for pads and tampons. It ate my quarters. It ate my quarters for both. So initially I thought, okay, well, I'll just make note of this and that'll be something to note in the blog. But then I thought, well, I'm going to take this one step further. And, it did eat my quarters. I want to see how they handle this. So I went to the customer service counter and where they do returns and everything. And it's, post-holiday season, so obviously a lot of people around, very busy. But I waited patiently for my turn and went up to the counter, and I caught myself, because it's such a taboo subject matter, I caught myself speaking very softly and saying, well, the machine in there ate my quarters, so I wondered if you would be able to take care of that for me. And she was, I don't know if she was new or what, but she was totally befuddled. I've never had that kind of complaint or request before, which means that I don't think that they keep that dispenser stocked. Or they do, or they do, and I just caught them on an off day. But I think a lot of businesses, from what I've gathered, just count on women having these supplies on their own. And so, anyways, she kind of asks her colleague next to her, and, what do we do with this kind of situation? And I saw her get on her radio and stuff, and I kind of overheard, like, okay, well, someone's going to be coming back here to take care of it. But customer service is, kind of, for me, having worked in retail as long as I did through college and everything, customer service was terrible there, and it was very frustrating, but, especially with such a sensitive subject. But anyways, I just kind of said, like, okay, well, how about I just stand aside over here so I'm not holding up the line? And she said, oh, okay, that's great. So I'm standing there for 10, maybe 15 minutes until a male employee comes back and goes into, there's obviously like a little closet or stock room back there, walks in there. He kind of looked at me standing there when he walked back, so I think, he kind of knew I was the one who needed the product. He walked in, walks back out carrying a tampon, and he's like, are you the one who... And he trailed off. And I could tell he did not know how to end that sentence, but, I felt embarrassed at that point, and I just wanted to get out of there. So yeah, I am, thank you. Took it and went into the restroom. and I just left it on the machine for somebody else. But it really got me thinking, I was just doing this for the project, but what if I had been on my period and I'm standing there hoping someone's going to be coming back? Or, what if I had a language barrier and didn't even know, what to ask for the supplies, or, couldn't really understand if I was going to get what I need. And I just think businesses need to be more sensitive and more aware of these kinds of needs and these kinds of issues. And challenging the stigma is definitely a big step in the right direction. But I mean, imagine going into a public restroom and none of the stalls have toilet paper. It's essentially the same concept. So these are just some things to kind of consider as we expand the conversation. And I will be sharing more in my blog early in February, but as always, any questions or comments in the meantime are welcome. And thanks for watching. Hope to talk to you again soon.